Hi there, I'm Danny, spiritualtherapist.com. That's my website and the same name for my YouTube channel. And there's so much happening right now, guys. 6th of July, 2022. And I was due today to speak to a beautiful man. I have been trying to get an appointment with this great man. He's an indigenous from the Lakota tribe. He's actually a lawyer. And defends a lot of the beautiful indigenous people in many different tribes that come under that umbrella. And it didn't happen. And I'm so impassioned for the Lakota people and the surrounding tribes that I wanted to speak on it anyway. And at some point, I hope that I will meet this beautiful man and we will continue the conversation. And if we don't, that's okay too. Like you guys, many of you out there, I have had this unending passion for our brothers and sisters on the planet. All stations, all nations. It makes me emotional to think about, as we've all witnessed the suffering. And I, as a blonde-haired, blue-eyed bint, can sit and talk about this because there's a myth that the white people don't get bullied or racised either. I live in Latin America. Let me tell you, boo. If you're a blue-eyed blonde and you live in the jungle in Latin America, you get to know how it feels, and it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it's not, but it is what it is right now. Anyway, so back to the Lakota tribes. With all of the tribes, like, why should they trust us whiteys? We've screwed up more than half the world, and that's a fact, and that's historical proof, and it's still happening by the old white men with the luggage under the eyes. All the deciding what we're going to do. Yeah, bye. Oh, did your tombstones fall down today? Did you try and make that Stonehenge for the future? You one-celled amoebas. See, that's what happens when you mess with humanity, when you mess with my brothers and my sisters on my planet, our planet, their planet, you gonna get your ass kicked. That's what's gonna happen to you. And the more you murder and kill and maim and separate, you just show what absolute failures you are. All governments, all authorities that put themselves in charge, all anyone has to do is, if there is one hungry person, one starving person, and one cold person in any town, village, city, quadrant, corner of any town on this entire planet, then the governments and the people in charge are failures, aren't they? Aren't they? There's more money on the planet than you could actually spend, right? And yet people are struggling. Aren't they? Shocking, isn't it? Shocking, aren't you? Hey, aren't you? So the Lakota tribes, these people, so back in 2004, this is a beautiful story. Back in 2004, some of the Lakota grandmothers, they came together and they said, no more will you take our children. For generations, our indigenous brothers and sisters from the Indian tribes, although if we go back a little bit, here's the thing. The story that we're told, because everything is written, oh great, now the drilling is going to start. Listen, you got to do these things when you feel it's the time to do them, okay? So we'll just go with what's happening here. So for millennia, there's been a slow genocide of the African peoples and the red-skinned indigenous peoples. And so let's take America. So there was a man called Christopher Columbus who was sailing around the oceans on the great seas. He was looking for India. He was looking for India. Well, he didn't find India. He stumbled across an already developed and established landmass called, well, it was since then named America. So he decided on landing, and of course, many of you know this, but some of you don't. When Columbus landed here, because he thought the indigenous peoples that were quite well developed, thank you very much, didn't need anybody from Europe coming over and telling the people on the American land what to do, how to plant, how to toil the soul. No one needed that. They were doing just bloody fine, right? Anyway, along comes Christopher Columbus, says to everyone, I have discovered America. Mate, you didn't, because America wasn't lost. It wasn't lost, all right? It was already developed by the indigenous people. The Europeans came in and stuffed a lot of shit up. That's what happened. They desecrated the beautiful indigenous beings. They desecrated and desecrate to this day their burial grounds, their ancient sites. These people are way smarter than any one of us could ever have thought to be. And the fact is that these beautiful people that were already indigenous in America helped the savages that came from the European parts. Oh, they were the savages, the pilgrims. Yes, it's time to rewrite history, is it not? His story, history, is it not? Is it not? Is it not time to come together as a oneness, as a unification of beautiful, loving, sharing our stories without some dimwit, one-celled amoeba at the top saying, no, 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 boom, we're going to rewrite that. Boom, we're going to rewrite this. And guess what else happened? Oh, I wasn't planning to go off quite like this, but you know, there we go. Bob's your uncle, fun is your aunt, what are you going to do? So these Georgia tombstones, so a while ago, those of you that don't know, because not everybody knows American, you know, current, you know, modern history, you know, his story. So some banana brains put up these columns, you know, there's like 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6, I don't know, because I don't care, but they're there. They're called the Georgia tombstones, and there's so many myths like, oh, they appeared in the night. Was it aliens? No, it wasn't, because aliens are not that dumb, not the ones I know. Anyway, moving along, many different languages were inscribed upon these giant tablets that came from who knows where. Who owns them? Nobody knows. They're in a trust. Oh no. Do you know what they say? Do you know what someone dared to write to us beloveds, us beloved humans everywhere? Some nincompoop with poop in the brain and one cell, a bean for a brain, decided to say that there will be a mass elimination of beings on our planet. And there may be something like 500,000 or 500,000 million only. Now, no one gets to say that, write that, or decide that. You do not have permission. Capiscio? Comprendez-vous? Eh? Get it? Many cultures around the world do not accept what you did on the tombstones in Georgia. Now, as we've come to understand, they got blown up, didn't they? Didn't they? Didn't they though? Someone came along and blew them up, or blew most of them, blew the arse off them. And do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Jimmy Savile, one of the sickest, filthiest, vilest, raping abusers of adults of every age, and our little ones, our little tiny ones. That filthy, filthy dirtbag who's dead. Good job too. But he wasn't caught for his heinous crimes until he was dead. And because he was an English British legend, everybody loved him. You know, he was an entertainer for children, and we used to write and say, please make our dreams come true, Jimmy. Please fix it for us to do this and to do that. Anyway, so he was loved by the highest of the highest of the high in Britain, all the big authoritative levels and families and wealthy ones. It's always that lot, isn't it? It's always those barn pots, and they can, you know, kind of have run things, but not anymore because that's done. So anyway, so when it was discovered what a filthy, disgusting monster of a turd this non-man is, people went up and kicked over his tombstone. Isn't that great? They kicked over his stupid, shitty tombstone. And today, that's what I saw happening. And also something wild happened today. I'm sitting here and I was playing with this Hanukkah crystal. It's a Hanukkah diamond, Hanukkah crystal. It's really supposed to be one of the hardest crystals on the planet. And I was just fiddling around with it, right? And then 2 pieces fell off it. 2 pieces fell off it. Isn't that like, I thought, how representative of what I'm talking about. I know I'm going round and round the houses a little bit, but, you know, let's have a little bit of like, I think it's time to incorporate everything. And I think as we're going through, not just focusing on one thing, like the Georgia tombstones, which I think is hilarious. I'm so glad it happened. I didn't give them my permission. Did you? Did you give these nut jobs your permission to say that there could be an extermination? I don't think so. In fact, I know so. So the little minions with no brains who've been telling us what to do forever, bye there. Bye-bye. Move along, because your plug-in to the powers that you had, it's gone, hasn't it? And now you're all fighting each other, aren't you? Aren't you though? Now, there is a possibility that as the soulless ones discover that there's nothing that's going to save them, no one's going to save them, they may come forward now. I mean, I did ask about this about 9 months ago, but maybe they'll come forward now and give more names, support, help, you know, because everything's targeted, everything, all the beautiful conferences, one in particular in Orlando, Florida, you shouldn't have gone there. The one-celled amoebas that targeted that, you should not have done that. You should not have done that. Boom, yeah. So back to the Lakota tribes. The grandmothers in the Lakota, they came along and they, hold on a second, I'm so sorry. Well, you know what, this is life, it happens, isn't it? It happens. Okay. The Lakota grandmothers, the beloveds, they came along and they went to fight for the children of all the generations before them and the generations after, because there's been a constant, permanent genocide of many of our beautiful brothers and sisters of different colored skins, and we know it. And what they did with our indigenous, call them American Indians, that's not what they call themselves, it never was, but let's call them American Indians. What they have done to the tribes is try to genocide them. They took them away, they ripped them away from their families. They ripped babies and children away. They put them into homes. They took away their indigenous names. They took away their own birth-given names, their beautiful given names, Standing Rock, Flying Eagle, Running Dog. I mean, these beautiful indigenous names that meant something so special to them. And they ruined and destroyed, and they molested, and they harmed, and they murdered. And there is countless years of proof. And there are so many of these beloved brothers and sisters coming forward, sharing their stories that are largely covered up. They're covered up. Oh no, don't let that out. Let's not talk about that over there. Let's keep everyone divided and separate. Let's put them on reservations. You know, let's pay them a pithy amount here. Let's keep them all addicted to alcohol because their metabolism is different, because they're the original Earth people with different, different DNA, let's say, responders, reflectors. Let's just leave that there. So there has been a permanent, ongoing genocide of people of different colors on our beautiful planet. My planet, your planet, our planet, not theirs, not the one-celled amoebas. No, 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 no. So the Lakota grandmothers came forward and have been fighting for their babies, trying to find their babies, their children's, their parents, their grandparents for years. And they're not the only tribe. It's happened to all of the tribes on our planet. But back to Christopher Columbus, who did not discover America. Now, do you know why America is called America? And of course, some of you do, but some of you don't, because why would we know unless we actually want to know or find out or hear about it? America is named after an Italian cartographer. A cartographer is somebody who maps, draws the maps on land masses across our planet. So the man that created the mapping, the very first mapping that we have awareness of, was Amerigo Vespucci, an Italian cartographer. And that is where the name America, excuse me, comes from. That. So the Lakota tribes have representatives. And this representative is called the Lakota Law Project. And I'm going to ask you all, if you subscribe to not one more anything on YouTube, please subscribe to the Lakota Law Project, because within that are many tribes of our brothers and our sisters, many, many tribes. And also that includes our water protectors, the water protectors, the people who after generation after generation after generation have their rituals, take care of our water, which has been targeted by the dumb twats at the top. And the Lakota Law Project is standing with the people, the water protectors, and they are all standing against Standing Rock and the Keystone pipeline. It's called the Keystone XL pipeline and the Dakota Access Pipeline. Now, these people, these buffoons, mostly white men in suits, have blocked and prevented and continue to slow genocide on our planet. Now, if I've lost you at this point, that's fine, bye. But it is time that we all come together in love. All of us come together in love. Keep on standing shoulder to shoulder, because we are in the middle of a love revolution. And it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. It looks really scary, and there's terrible, terrible things happening, but it is on the turn. The tide has turned. You can feel it coming together en masse, all of us. Boy, are we going to see a rise in everything and a rise in love. It makes my heart thump so hard. Now, alongside the Lakota tribes and the water protectors, there's also this is so heartbreaking to talk about, but it's something that's been happening consistently. And it's hashtag no more stolen sisters, because so many of our Indigenous women and girls and baby girls, children and young ones, teenagers and adults are taken every year, and they're disappeared. They are disappeared. And it's never national, international news, which it should be. It's always like, oh, you know, let's not put that in the local paper. Why? Why? Shame on you. Shame on you. We're coming for you. The whole world is coming for the minority, the ones who've run, the ones who've put those stupid tombstones in place, the ones who block the water. You shouldn't have messed with us. You didn't know how strong we were, did you? You underestimated how we all love each other. You underestimated the compassion that we all have for each other. And for that, you will learn. You will learn. Best you leave now. Best you pop off the planet now and do whatever you need to do. Plan B, guys. Plan B. Because we are coming. We are coming for each other, and we stand in the arms of love. Now, everyone, once again, I was going to ask you to, if you do not one more subscription on any channel on this platform, subscribe to the Lakota Law Project. And once we all shift energy there, and a mass of us do that, you're going to feel a bump in the fabric of consciousness on this planet. You're going to feel a movement, but we've all been blocked from each other. But today's the day, the 6th of July, 2022, from this moment on in particular, boom, we make our own sonic boom. We make our own connections. We do whatever it is we feel we want to do to help and support each other, our brothers and our sisters of all nations, all stations, all colors, wherever you are on this planet. I am Danny Henderson, and I love you. I love humanity. I care about this planet so much. I care about you all so much, because you care about me and each other too. And we band together in the arms of love, and we let no one and no thing interfere, force us interfere anymore, force us into crisis, force us into starvation, and all the things that are happening in front of us. We do not allow it. And I speak for myself. I do not allow it. We came to this planet to experience love and joy and the beauty of her. She's so beautiful. Mother Earth is so beautiful. As she wraps herself around us, so I wrap myself around her and all of you. So the Lakota Law Project, the Water Protectors, the Stand Against No More Stolen Sisters, the taking down of all the systems in every city, in every town, every authoritative system, using love, never inciting violence, never inciting violence. I send you my love, everyone. I am Danny Henderson, and I love you. And I'll see you soon.